Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fabulous e-chapter meeting. I'm so glad to be with you all today. I know it sounds a little bit like a broken record, but once again, our e-chapter just keeps growing and growing. We started 2017 with more than 23,000 e-chapter members, and now, drum roll, we have over 27,000 e-chapter members. Yes, that's right, 4,000 new members in 3 months. It is by far our most successful and member-appreciated networking benefit, and I think that number is pretty amazing. I am absolutely thrilled to witness the explosive growth of this exciting initiative, and I thank each and every one of you for making our bi-weekly virtual meetings engaging, heartfelt, and inspiring. The NAPW e-chapter is networking at its best for busy professional women on the go. It really does provide access to your network from wherever you are. In fact, as you know, last year I hosted the e-chapter from multiple places while meeting all kinds of people in some amazing cities and states. In 2016, nothing stops me from keeping my network strong. And I know 2017 is going to be even better. Today I'm actually hosting from Southwest Florida, where tomorrow I will greet 500 women and men dedicated to bringing awareness of and focusing preventive action on heart disease. You know, I always remind everyone how important heart health awareness is. It's indeed my mission and purpose in life. So I'm happy to be here to spread that heart health message. But today, we're going to discuss the power of networking, which you know is my second favorite thing. NAPW was founded on the premise of two very fundamental principles: empowering women and networking. And those two principles are the reason that I've accomplished clearly what I have in my career. By having faith in my abilities and by staying connected with the people in my life, both personally and professionally, I've been fortunate to experience a pretty cool career. In addition, I want to offer this piece of advice. How do I say this? Women need to help other women. Bottom line, rising tides lifts all boats. When women help one another professionally, especially women at the top, everyone benefits. From the men and women in the mailroom or on the loading dock to the board of directors. Whenever you have the opportunity to mentor someone, recommend someone for a job opening, make an introduction, or even act as a sounding board over a quick cup of coffee, please do it. Women have made a lot of progress in the workplace, but if we are ever going to get to a point where women make equal money and are afforded equal opportunity, speaking of equal pay day, women have to help other women. I have 6 networking principles that I want to share with you. You know, I love to put together my own tips. It's one of the reasons why I love this job. And I know that networking and meeting new people in general can be a bit intimidating to a lot of people. I remember when I went to speak about networking for the first time to empower our new Chinese constituents, and it was intimidating for them. But take it from me, it's really a cinch when you master the following. Let's start with number 1. I want to teach you how to be a networking star. First thing, plan ahead, okay? You're networking for a reason: to get a new job, meet a new client, and build your professional network. Keep your reason for networking in mind as you choose your networking options carefully based on the location and crowd that can best meet your needs. So in other words, have a plan. Number 2, this may be my favorite. Be your own Sasha Fierce. Do you know who Sasha Fierce is? Well, if you're meeting a new person and that makes you nervous, you have to create an alter ego to help you overcome the nerves. Beyonce has Sasha Fierce. That's true. Beyonce is at home Beyonce. But on stage, she's Sasha Fierce. And I encourage you to develop your own to help you get past your jitters. I'm not sure that I've ever been really nervous in meeting new people. I enjoy meeting new people, and so I kind of count it as one of the things I like to do and do best. But at home, I'm stylish. I'm not always all bubbles and giggles. But when you hand me a microphone, I turn into Star Jones. Number 3, just say hi. No matter what language you speak, just say hi. A friendly greeting is the best opening to a networking session. Extend your hand, introduce yourself, and ask the person a question to break the ice. I find the easy ones work best, like, hey, what brought you to the event today? Or, how did you hear about NAPW? And my catch-all always work. Girl, those are some fierce shoes. Let me tell you, a woman can talk to you for a solid hour when you compliment her shoes. Number 4, speak up. Yes, be heard. Tell those you meet why you're networking and what you hope to gain from the session. So, in other words, with your plan, state your purpose. So you say, hey, I'm looking to transition to a career in human resources. Where should I start? That is how you'll get what you want. Number 5, contact, and more contact. Whether you share a traditional business card or you electronically airdrop your information, I am like the queen of the airdrop. With everyone you meet, you have to be sure to follow up. You send the contact that you make a quick email a day or two later, and you keep in mind their needs also. Now, what does that mean? Reminding you that networking is not only about how others can help you, it's about what you can do to help others. Remember, one hand washes the other. Number 6, make referrals. This is something people forget about all the time. Remember, networking is not about being selfish. There is no compliment greater than a referral. If you can benefit from the service your new connection provides, or you can't benefit, but you know somebody who can, make an introduction. Hopefully, they will return a favor and refer your work to your target audience as well. Using all these basic networking tips in summary is truly what works. And I know that they have worked for me for over 30 years as a professional. Plan ahead, be your own Sasha Fierce, learn to just say hi, speak up, contact, and more contacts, and remember to make referrals. Today's e-chapter meeting will encourage you to be bold and to be your best you by increasing your network and building your networking skills. I'm so proud that we put together a terrific panel that includes a super successful, seasoned, trailblazing women who are all experts in their field. They're going to share about their own experiences and challenges and offer personal tips and advice. But before we get to the panel discussion, we're going to hear from 3 fabulous VIP members in our VIP member spotlight. This is of particular interest for all of our entrepreneurs. This will give you some ideas on how to grow your own business. These women boast successful careers in a variety of industries. They each have a unique story to tell, and I'm excited for you to hear them. Finally, I want to encourage you to be sure to participate in the polls that will appear throughout the meeting. This interactive aspect of the e-chapter meetings really give us some great insight into our attendees and your thoughts on some very important topics. They also help set the agenda for future e-chapter meetings. And now, without further ado, ta-da! It is my pleasure to introduce NAPW's National Director of Chapters, Louise Newsom, who is also the president of our New York City chapter. She and her team spearhead our e-chapter, and she will facilitate today's meeting. Louise, take it away.
Thank you, Star, and welcome everyone. Our live e-chapters are held once a month, and our reruns held bi-weekly, either at noon or 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can come back, listen again, and network with new attendees from around the country. E-chapter has taken the stage, not only fostering real-time networking, but has also developed into the offline, in-person coffee meetings, not to mention all the business contacts created through the connections made during the events. Also, with our newest online event, e-coaching, we're excited to be offering you even more networking opportunities in 2017. Please look out for the invites and promotions via email, on social media, and our website, napw.com. We encourage you to carve out the time and keep coming back to our online events because of its ease and ability to network from your office, while on the road, and even from the comfort of your own home. You will see at the bottom left of your screen a box that explains how to create a private chat room with any attendee you wish to speak with off the group chat during the event. It can be difficult to keep up with one or several people you've connected with, especially when the chat room moves so quickly. We also have in attendance today some additional corporate moderators to assist you or just chat with you along the way. They are Sam Pocorni, our local chapter manager, who will do her best to offer technical support if needed. Dana Angel, graphic designer and digital media manager, will be live posting throughout the event on MEPW's Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, encouraging you in the chat room to share our post on your social media. And Katie Maloney, Director of Membership Acquisition, who is available to assist you with any membership questions you have today. You will also see several times during the event a poll pop up on your screen. Please take a minute to answer the questions as we'll share the results during the panel discussion. The agenda for our event today is that we'll be showcasing 3 VIP member business spotlights who have 3 minutes each to share their expertise before we invite on our panelists to discuss our topic for today, the value of professional networking for career success. So for our first VIP spotlight, I'd like to introduce Teresa Barnes, registered nurse, speaker, author, trainer, and consultant who grew up with a hearing loss, so she understands the inconveniences of this disability, personally as well as professionally. Teresa has 20-plus years working with this population in the medical settings as an RN and also in the corporate world. Teresa helps you understand hearing health to increase production, improved customer service results, your health program, retain valuable employees, decrease healthcare costs and sales with insider tips for attracting a multi-billion-dollar niche market. Teresa is very active in the Hearific campaign to make hearing health a nationwide concern, to engage your company as a forerunner in prevention of a silent tsunami that has had a 30% increase in the last 14 years, affecting 1 in 5 teenagers and millennials. She specializes in keynote speaking, training, and consulting to change the stigma around hearing loss, inspiring those with diversity issues and programs for the prevention of hearing loss. Good afternoon, Teresa. I see that you're on camera.
Hi, Louise. How are you? And good afternoon, ladies. Thanks for an awesome introduction. Vision and hearing are determining qualities of life according to Healthy People 2010. We've come a long way in reference to accepting people with vision challenges. It's not the same for those with hearing deficits. It's 2017. Most people who meet me don't realize I have a hearing loss. The reason they don't goes back to my childhood. Although I was born with a 55% loss in my right ear and a 50% loss in my left ear, my parents didn't accept that I was anything but perfect. My father refused to let me get hearing aids, and my mother spent hours after school each day drilling me with diction lessons. So I spent my childhood with no hearing aids and no special treatment. Post-fact, I realized I was bullied at school, then emotionally and physically abused by my dad for not hearing. It wasn't until I graduated from nursing school that I got my first set of hearing aids. I was 22 years old, and that's when a new world opened up for me. I moved back to my hometown, San Diego, married a cardiologist, had 2 children, did the stay-at-home thing, ran marathons, and then got a divorce. My path might have been different, but 2 accidents, one while skiing and one while biking with my daughter, led me to find my aha moment. My artist neighbor told me after I shared those stories with her, they can't see you have a hearing loss. Thus came the concept of getting visibility out there, like what's behind me. I realized I was part of an unacknowledged, unseen population, people who are neither totally hearing nor deaf. I like to call us the hearific and terrific. Yes, building that self-esteem, as it breaks my heart to hear that in 2015, a young high school graduate was bullied like me due to hearing loss. And a 54-year-old C-level executive from a Fortune 500 company was let go due to hearing loss she's had since she was 12, and then signed a form that said she wouldn't sue them. We need to get some other way for people to see us, learn what foods to eat to prevent and improve hearing, and how to attract that multi-billion-dollar missed market, and reduce the $56 billion lost in productivity, due to hearing loss. I do work with businesses, healthcare, city governments, and academic systems. As Louise says, I do training for ADA, wellness and diversity, webinars for food and communication, creating hearing-friendly businesses along the way. And I'd like for you all to learn how to be a hearing-friendly business. As an NAPW member, I'd like to ask you to help me connect the 48 million Americans who are currently horrific so that we can form a community. And as business leaders, I'd like you to help me get this show on the road with keynote opportunities. I'm giving a webinar tomorrow for a hearing with spring foods, because there are foods like tomatoes that you can eat to help reduce the possibility of getting hearing loss. And I have a link that I'll be happy to share with you on the chat room. And I'll also be happy to share you my ebook, Sound Advice, Tune Into Hearing, which covers several aspects. And I thank you very much. It's just delightful, and this is like my life purpose, my life mission, and I want people to realize how valuable their hearing is, because people don't do anything about it until they lose it. But we need to get businesses to become hearing-friendly businesses so that we turn down the volume so more people don't lose their hearing. So we get that number down from 30%, and it doesn't keep increasing.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much for your information and insight today. I invite you to go over to the chat room to network with the ladies and continue the conversation there.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Teresa. Our next spotlight for today is Alex Lyons, CEO of Crimson Dragon Entertainment. His career spans more than 20 years in the entertainment industry, including television, production, films, TV development, writing management, and feature film producing. After graduating with high honors from the University of Texas, Austin, with a Bachelor of Science in Radio, Television, Film, Alex began her career for a local CBS station, then moved to Los Angeles, where she worked as a pitch writer and development consultant for the William Morris Agency, as well as a development executive, before signing on as a director of international licensing marketing at Paramount Pictures. As a studio executive, she planned international strategy for motion pictures, such as Mission Impossible and Forrest Gump, among many others, along with the television and theatrical Star Trek franchise. Alex left Paramount to start her own production company and wrote and produced the feature film, The Inner Circle, which won the 2009 Exceptional Merit in Media Award. Over the course of her career, she has written novels and screenplays that have been optioned and produced. Good afternoon, Alex, and welcome.
Thank you, Louise, for the introduction and the opportunity to be here today. Hello, everyone. Well, you've heard a little bit about my background. I think it's important to mention that there were many more jobs along the way, and it's required me to keep reinventing myself, which works in a writer's favor. When I look back at my career so far, I see it as an evolution of side trips. I've always wanted to be a writer, specifically of books. I wrote my first book when I was 7, and writing is the kind of profession where most authors don't have the luxury of being able to write without having to make a living at the same time. But when I look back at the jobs and the work that I've done to date, and I think about the way they came about, I see a common thread, and it is my writing. The manuscript of my first novel led me to a job at the William Morris Agency. I received a great review and a job offer. Then I got sidetracked, and I never tried to get it published because I didn't know how. And I never asked anyone at the agency to pursue that part of it, because the division that saw the manuscript and that hired me was for film and television. Their literary one was in New York. While working at the studio later, I wrote a second novel, and I wrote it at night. But again, I didn't know how to go about seeking publication, so I just stuck to my job. And I thought I wanted to make a movie of the book. And several people that read the manuscript liked it, and suddenly all they talked about was making the movie. And that manuscript eventually got my production company funded. Then the budget came in for the film, and it was too high. So my partner said, write a smaller budget film. So I did, and we made that movie. But always in the back of my mind, I kept hearing that voice that said, but if I could just be only a book author. Then several years ago, when I was writing online programs, some friends encouraged me to put my books on Amazon rather than keep the manuscripts in a drawer. And after, now we had Kindle, so I did that, but I didn't promote them, and I didn't know what else to do with them. However, I never stopped writing. And in the back of my mind, that voice just kept on going, but if you could just be a book author. So I believe that, as Michael Jordan said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And then I started wondering, well, what was preventing me from trying to pursue this publishing thing? And I realized it was really just myself. So over a year ago, I began writing another novel, a thriller. I finished it, and now it has a lot of interest, and it has a team developing it into a feature film. And I have a great literary agent, finally. I finally went that route. And I decided that a book author is what I really want to be when I grow up. And as a result, my agent is encouraging me to make sure that my past works are out there before the new ones come out. So I would like to make you an offer and ask for your help. At the same time, I'm hopeful that it will be an enjoyable and worthwhile experience for you as well. I have 2 books on Amazon for Kindle. When you enter my name in the search, they should both come up. Ashes to Ashes is a story about a young woman who comes into her own after tragedy. And The Last Machaca is a fast-paced romantic adventure with a mythic twist. I put both books up at the lowest price that Amazon will allow me under my terms, which is $2.99. And I would ask those of you who like to read fiction and have a Kindle or an iPad to please purchase one, read it, and if you like it, please review it on Amazon. For the first 25 people who send me an email that you did so, I will send you a signed hard copy of The Last Machaca, which will be released in its new form in the next 60 days. And I will also put you on a list when my new book entitled Malfeasance is published to receive an advanced copy. Thank you so much for listening, and I really appreciate this time, giving me this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Again, please join the chat room and continue to share and network with the attendees there. Last but not least for our spotlights today, I'd like to welcome Shireen Zaza, CEO of Zaza & Co. Event Planning and Design. Shireen started out as a hostess 15 years ago in Olive Garden in Torrance, California. Quickly, top management honed in on her natural talent, sparkling personality, attention to detail, and getting things done was her trademark. She was promoted to service manager at the age of 21, becoming the youngest female manager to work for the company. She went on to graduate with honors in business management and human resources and also obtained a paralegal certification certified by the American Bar Association. She took time off work having a family only to find there was something missing. Her passion in life, people. She loved to see people happy. What better way to have happiness than to help them create lasting memories through event planning? Her 5 years of restaurant management experience and with her degree in hand made planning a breeze. She's been dazzling brides across the nation, and her clientele includes celebrities and professional athletes. Her love and life's passion is helping clients create a uniquely you event. Welcome, Shireen. Welcome to Come On Canada.
Thank you so much, and hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here, from sunny California, Los Angeles to be exact. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why I went into this field, because a lot of people ask me that question. I thought, what better way to relate to all of you than to tell you about what it was that catapulted this whole situation. I actually was asked by one of my photographer friends to do all of this event planning as favors to begin with, and because of my background, and I found that I loved it. But the moment that actually catapulted this whole thing was a wedding that I went to, and it was where the bride and groom came from 2 different cultures, complete cultures, coming together I call it a fusion, to have a fusion wedding. And that moment when I watched the drums coming in and the belly dancer walking in and the faces of the mothers and the faces of the fathers and watching them dance like Shakira where their hips don't lie. And that right there was the moment where I was like, I have to do this. This is something that I am passionate about. It's these moments that I get to help create, which is amazing. And it is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And I started to get out here with everyone and to find a lot more brides. And I found that each bride had a unique sense, a uniquely you event, and those moments just kept coming. Another time, this was about a month ago, there was a groom that they went and hired this amazing 80s band. It was retro, and it was on the Conan O'Brien show and all that. But that wasn't the moment that got me. It was when the groom had the courage to actually go up after their grand entrance and sit down and grab his guitar and serenade his bride-to-be. And he is not a singer. It sounded like drowning cats, believe me. But it was just that beauty in that moment that I got to be involved with. It's just those type of things that make it lovely. Another thing that I really love is the decor aspect of it all. I'm a world traveler, and so my passion is going into new and unique places. Like last year we went to Turkey, and just finding the tantalizing entrees, the colors and things like that. It's all something that I'm highly passionate about. And so for me, I think that passion is something that all of us can relate to as professional women, from one professional woman to another. If any of you need help or have questions, I'd be more than happy to help you with any event that you have. Or if you need help creating a uniquely you event, I would love to be involved and add your story to my wonderful array. Please visit my website at www.zalzacoevents.com. And also, I will extend a 10% discount to all of you professional, wonderful ladies for any time that you may need me. And I thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Shireen. Samantha, there you go. I can open up my camera now. Perfect. Shireen, I welcome you to go over to the chat room and speak with and continue speaking with all the attendees in there. Thank you to all our professional spotlights for taking the time to speak on our chapter. It's now time to continue our program and introduce the panel that will be discussing our topic for today, the value of professional networking for career success. So for our first panelist, I welcome Kay Botherlin, CPA and Executive Director of Financial Legacy Builders. Kay is a transition advocate for owners seeking to grow their business, develop a succession plan, or transition to the next generation. Armed with a CPA, an MBA from the Northwestern University, and a career in financial services, she is uniquely qualified to guide small to mid-sized business owners. Throughout her career, Kay has utilized relationship development, financial analysis, and problem-solving skills to make a difference for individual clients, businesses, and nonprofit organizations. She truly enjoys being the biggest cheerleader and closest confidant for clients seeking to take their business to the next level. In the process, Kay leverages a network of seasoned professionals to address challenges and optimize opportunities. NAPW has become an excellent source of valued connections, and in fact, ladies, her largest customer in 2016 came through a referral from our NAPW Orlando chapter. Good afternoon, Kay. Wonderful to have you on our panel today. For our next panelist, I'd like to welcome Lisa Hannon, founder of ZLAR and a business transformation consultant. Lisa has almost 30 years experience driving operational turnarounds, hauling strange processes, startups, and multi-billion-dollar corporations across multiple industries. As the founder of ZLAR, Lisa finds opportunities to help individual teams and businesses discover and develop the value they have to offer, uncovering opportunities and coaching on how to tell the value contribution story is a driving purpose for ZLAR. Lisa's education includes an MBA and an MS in Management Information Systems from Penn State, a BA in Management from Wilkes University, Lean Sigma Black Belt certificate from Villanova University, and a ProSci Change Management certification. Greetings, Lisa. Also wonderful to have you here today. Last but not least, for our panel, I welcome Elena Ashley, who is the founder and owner of Ashley Consulting and Training, a graduate of Robertson College with now over 20 years of technical experience, including 15 years of specialization in the business intelligence data warehousing space. There she focused on successful release management and delivery of large-scale BI deployments, conversions, and migrations. Elena's roles have encompassed development, planning, business and technical analysis, technical leadership, training, and project management. She started Ashley Consulting and Training in February 2016, which offers agile business intelligence consulting services and training in the areas of SAP, BI products, security, and agile project management. Ashley Consulting is an accredited training partner from scrumstudy.com and offers custom in-house training, public classroom training, and complete online portfolio of training materials for a variety of industry leaders. I'm also thrilled to announce that Elena is the recently appointed NAPW chapter president of the Sacramento chapter. Good afternoon, Elena. Ladies, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So I'm going to pull up my notes here. So ladies, our topic today, the value of professional networking for career success. Ivan Misner, who is the founder and chairman of B&I, called the father of modern networking by CNN and the networking guru by Entrepreneur magazine, has been quoted as saying, networking is more about farming than it is about hunting. It's about cultivating relationships. So what do we think he means by farming when networking to cultivate long-lasting relationships? Kay, I'll start with you.
Well, I want to thank you, Louise, for the opportunity to participate with this group of smart, beautiful, and successful women. I also want to thank all of you for deciding to join us. I help women business owners create a blueprint to profitability. I'm Kay Bogerling, the Chief Profitability Advocate. Many people avoid networking because they think it is sales-oriented. They confuse the transactional with relational elements of networking, but it's really about relationships. Examining the difference between farming and hunting is a great way to understand why networking is not transactional. Hunters are those who identify the best opportunities and cultivate a relationship to achieve a sale. They may be involved in implementation, but their primary goal is to move on to the next opportunity as quickly as possible. Farming is the avenue to building strong personal and professional relationships and transitioning clients beyond the know, like, and trust stage to a try, buy, and refer stage. The time spent networking should be based on your specific objectives and goals. You also want to incorporate business and financial elements into the equation. One important element of farming is to cultivate lasting relationships with an eye for return on investment. And in the networking you do with individuals that you can help. Innovation and technology has introduced an entirely new way of networking. While technology doesn't always lead to better communications, it's certainly been proven to be faster and cheaper in many circumstances. The key is to select the ones that are right for you and your business. Whatever avenues you choose today, businesswomen need to be good at what she does and flexible enough to adapt to the next innovation in technology and customer demand.
Okay, thank you. There's a lot of information there, and good information. I want to get around the group, and then I have some things to add myself. So, Lisa, what do you have to add here about the farming concept of networking?
Well, I think maybe I tend to oversimplify, but I look at it like gardening. I'm not someone to plant flowers every year. So the hunting to me is putting annuals in, and every year they're gone, and you got to go do it again. I'm perennials, knowing that you have to revisit them every year to keep them healthy. So when I look at farming, I look at really just nurturing the relationship. And I'm a little later in my career, so early on, I didn't know back then that 20 years later, I might have been able to either help someone or they could have helped me. And so I try to look for what's unique in people as a building block to a lot of other possibilities, both individuals and businesses. And I think then it can help you look at yourself and your own networking ability and connections to build anything for yourself in the future. Some people are better at predicting. My past has been quite widespread, but that's how I see it.
Thanks, Lisa. Elena, glad you could join us.
Thanks, Louise. I appreciate it. And welcome, everybody. I hope you get a lot out of the session. This is actually the first time I heard this question, so I wrote down some notes. The analogy with farming and with cultivating really, to me, is all about planting seeds. That's the key, and I do tend to simplify as well. And to me, when you're networking, you're planting seeds, and you never know when, you have an idea that if you plant the seed, eventually a plant will come up, but you don't necessarily know when or how long it's going to take, and you need to nurture that soil, right? You need to get all the weeds out and make sure it's watered and make sure that, it's being taken care of, and that's very much like networking as well. you need to plant those seeds. You need to go out to those networking events, and you need to say hi, even if you don't have the confidence to do that. Just like what Star said, get your Sasha Fierce out of your pocket, put her on, and go to those networking events and just say hi. And that's what a farmer does when he plants his seeds. He just throws them in the ground, takes care of the soil, and hopes for the best. And that's exactly what I think the analogy has to do with when it comes to networking.
It's a great one, though. Farming versus hunting, it kind of puts it in perspective. So, I mean, with men's networks, I have some notes here that are more widely dispersed or known to be more widely dispersed than women tend to network. And they also tend to network in the same way, maybe within their personal networks as their professional networks. So I want to discuss with you, ladies, the difference between the social and the business networking and what we need to be thinking about to make those key connections with people that are going to either lead us to someone else or lead us somewhere. Elena, I'll come back to you with this and we'll go around the other way.
Sure. So there's definitely a difference between the two, but there's also a defining line between them that is actually the same, and that is, of course, the relationships. And sometimes your professional relationships get more personal over time, and you start to develop friendships with them. But when you're talking about professional networking, you want to think about your purpose, right? Why are you doing the networking? And whatever it is that you're trying to get out of networking, whether it's increasing your sales, like if you're self-employed and you want to increase sales, even for those out there in network marketing, that's one of the goals, is to get more customers, right? It could be brand awareness. Maybe you sell something that is very unique and nobody knows about it, so you're trying to do that as well. Or maybe you're just trying to develop your personal reputation, right? Your reputation to precede you, so that, maybe the next time you're unemployed, people that have been in contact with you and know you and you've kept in contact with will all of a sudden say, hey, I saw, for example, on your LinkedIn profile that you were available, and we have the opportunity that we want to interview you for. So I think that you have to think about why you're networking, and if it's professional, think of those reasons that what you're trying to accomplish, and if it's personal, then you have to think about how often you do these different things and who you do them with, because sometimes they're the same group and you develop more personal relationships out of them, and sometimes they are a totally different group, like an association or one of those. I can tell you out of my personal experience, I've developed both out of my joining NAPW, for example. I had a life change in 2015. I joined NAPW late in 2015. And the reason I did was because I needed to kind of reinvent myself. I think somebody mentioned those words, right? And so what did I do? Well, I didn't know anybody in Sacramento. I just moved there, just lost my job, all those things. So I joined a networking group. And since then, I've developed personal relationships and professional relationships. And it's also helped my self-confidence getting back into me after all those life changes. So that's what I have to add where that's concerned.
That's right, Elena. I mean, it should be a friendly place. I'm just looking at the poll that was put up. It says, in a typical month, how likely are you to attend a professional networking event? And I'm quite surprised, actually, that with the way it's mapped out, that, from extremely likely to slightly likely, it's kind of equal, the amount of people that have answered this. I think that, often we struggle attending these events because we're expected to be different, or we think we should be different than we really are, and navigating that space can be overwhelming and walking into a room. I know I have that happen at the New York City events that I host for the chapter here, and women will come up to me and say, oh, I was very nervous to come tonight, I don't know anybody. Lisa, I mean, let's talk about, the networks and social networks and professional networks, and how we can kind of take away the fear in understanding that actually, we can kind of evolve them in the same way and look at them similarly, even though the goals might be different in the end, how we start off.
Sure. And there's a couple of things that that I was thinking about when Elena was talking, which was, first of all, they always tell you want to meet someone, it's usually when you're not looking. So the best time to network is really not when people think, oh no, here she is again, because we know she left her last position or she's looking for something new. And it's always easier for people, as I met folks at Philadelphia NAPW event, people who were a little tentative about talking, it was because they felt that they were asking for something. So every day I meet somebody and I find a way to help them. And when you find that that's how you're starting the conversation, when it comes time to ask, it's really, you've already paid it forward. And Star mentioned earlier, and I was really happy to hear her say this, we're all on the same team. And the more we start to push each other ahead, the more that we will collectively find it easier to kind of join arms and move forward and find what we each have to offer. So social and business, I don't find it very different. Maybe the outfits, but it's really, it's the same thing. You find something special in everybody. Everybody has something to bring, including you, and it's not always the same thing job to job.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I think that as women, we want to be social, and that's how we like to start and connect on that level. And it's a better way to do it, absolutely, and connect on a personal level, and then you move into all that, the business stuff. So anyway, Kay, your thoughts on this?
You know, it's interesting because as I was listening, I thought, you know, the key to success is creating value for someone else. And networking and business is all about relationships, but that creating value for someone else includes every sphere of influence, your clients, your vendors, networking contacts, and everyone else. And what that means is making time to listen, understand their needs, and meet those needs. That's the greatest value you can provide. That doesn't necessarily mean that you make them a client, but if you do, it's because you're really good at what you do, and they need it. And so I think people are, and women have a tendency to be like, oh, well, you know, I'm not really worth it or whatever it is. But, you know, if they don't become a client, maybe it's because you send them a referral to someone who really appreciates you for doing that, or making a purchase that allows you to grow your business, or developing a strategic partnership that creates mutual benefit. So if you look at a networking opportunity as the ability to create value for someone else, that's going to mean a heck of a lot more than just stepping in and thinking, oh, I've got to get a sale or else I can't pay my bills next month.
Yes.
And it's really a mindset.
And that comes through strong when somebody approaches it like that. Being a connector, yes, is a great way. And actually a great way when you're dealing with shyness is to kind of go into the room and find out about what somebody else is looking for and be that connector and start off that and empower yourself. Here I have a piece of information that I pulled from the internet that was talking about the insular behavior of women, how it can stop them from extending their reach outside the people they already know, and also reduces the number of people who can attest to the quality of women's work performance. And this presents problems for women who want to extend their profile beyond their current job or company. So interesting, you know, when we ask the question, when should we start networking and how often should we be networking? So Lisa, you know, based off that information, that, you know, by not networking, we actually might be hurting ourselves, you know, evolve and climb the ladder and reach the goals that we're looking for.
Yeah, you know, I grew up as a tomboy, so I had to actually ask people about this one because I'm not shy. I think I learned networking from Groucho Marx, to be honest, who kind of introduces himself into every situation. People who know me know that's true. But I think one of the things that women fear that I've heard is to be judged or to have people polarize about them. If people are polarizing about you because not everyone's going to like what you do, you're probably doing it right. That means that you're taking a stand and you're actually moving in a direction. But to do that, sometimes it's good to I introduce humor into just about everything, but introduce humor, say maybe it's me, but I could probably learn from you, or help me understand, and give them the power position. So until everybody realizes we are on the same team, you can set the context up so that they're comfortable that that is in fact the case.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Lisa. Elena.
I was listening and I lost track of the question. How do you like that?
Well, that's okay. We were talking about how the insular behavior, women can tend to be a little more insular and not broaden their networks, and how actually it can impact their growth. So we're talking about, when to start networking and how often to be networking.
And how often, right. So I don't know if I can say this in any stronger of a way. I wrote it down last night, and because I did see that question before, and I was thinking about this question. I think networking can't start soon enough in your life at all. If you are a driven person, then you will start networking very early on. For some people, that means in college. For some people, that means in high school. Last night, I watched Chop Jr., and it meant tweens and teens that were on the TV competing. And why? They were trying to build their brand and their network and make money and all of those things. So as far as when to start networking, I say as soon as possible. I mean, that is how I have had a really successful career, to be quite honest with you, and how I've had such a varied experience. I started networking very, very young, right out of college, 21 years old. I started networking then, and since then, it has always served me well to always bring the next opportunity to me, to always meet the most wonderful people and develop the strongest relationships. I still have some of those relationships from when I started networking right out of college. So I say the answer to that is as often as possible and start as soon as you can.
That's right. I think we start in the daycare, if that's where you start, or the kindergarten, in the schoolyard. And we don't even realize. I mean, the problem is we just put such a formal word around it, and it becomes a fear object, and also a wall for lots of people, because there has to be results at the end of it, and it's a process. So we asked everyone on the call today, do you find yourself more interested in online or in-person networking? Which is funny because we just asked about the in-person, and so most of 62%, just over half, are saying that both in-person and online. I mean, I'm certainly seeing with our online events here at NAPW with our e-chapter and our e-coaching that there is a lot of really great conversation happening in those chat rooms, because I think that people are braver. I think that they're more comfortable. They're kind of, no face. They can just connect and talk more freely. And the in-person is much more daunting. Kay, I mean, do you have anything to add here as far as, how often, I mean, just from experience, from what you've learned on the way?
I would definitely agree that you need to start networking as soon as possible. And from my perspective, I really enjoy networking on a face-to-face basis because I just enjoy developing relationships, and I enjoy being a professional student and constantly learning. And so networking allows me to do that. But I think kind of a general rule of thumb as to how to go about it from a time perspective is that the general rule of thumb for time optimization says 40 to 60% of your time should be based on paid work, and those are activities that generate cash and profitability. So 30 to 40% of your time should be doing marketing, and that includes networking. And 10% is on administration, all the things nobody really likes to do. But how much you do depends on where your business is. So if 20% of your time is on paid work, you've got lots of time available, so you need to spend a lot more time marketing. On the other hand, if you're spending 80% of your time on paid work, now you need to rely on your network to find the resources that is really good at the things that the company really needs, but aren't necessarily the right things for you to do. So that's why it's really important to have the right partners and the right types of networking that allow you to identify the people that you can help and that can bring you the resources you need to make sure that you're effectively serving your clients.
Yes, no, absolutely, Kay. And it was great. I'm glad you popped over to the next question, which is great because, there are so many networking events to go to, right? And so when we're deciding where we should go and how we should choose our time wisely, on where to spend our time networking, Lisa, what would you have to say to this?
Well, when it comes to events that are strictly networking only, one of my customers actually told me that he equated those to a bunch of vultures showing up and there's no cow. And, and
I'm not even going to say.
And I realized, wait a minute, I'm one of those vultures. So, but I think that goes back to, having something to offer. So any event can be valuable. I find the ones personally that I like to attend are the ones where there is professional development. The VIP event in Philly, for example, professional development. People are there are already for a common purpose. There's already something in common. And most of my networking, though, honestly, is in the line at the store, post office, anywhere I don't like to be and don't know what I'm doing, which is usually in most of those places, and just finding out what are people doing, why are they there, and just finding what makes them special. I met two people this morning just in the cafeteria at work who I'd never met before, and they're going to join a women's support group, professional support group. So you just never know where it's going to come from. And I think back earlier in my career, there were networking events I went to, and I think for those of us with more tenure and higher comfort level for this type of thing, it's our responsibility to help those that are not as comfortable, bring them along and act as hosts. Yeah. Louise is great at that at events, and just being able to do that. I wish someone had done that for me because I was very shy, believe it or not. I felt very awkward a few decades ago. I've overcome it.
Right. No, absolutely. I've met you in person, Lisa. You have definitely overcome it. And you know what? Maybe we should call it net learning instead of networking, because actually if you go in with the wanting to learn mentality, and actually sometimes just even viewing the room and watching people and how they navigate themselves and actually say, okay, that woman's doing a great job, or I'm not going to behave that way. And give yourself a moment to kind of understand what's happening around you instead of just jumping in and feeling like you're going to make a terrible mistake. Our attendee said here that we asked the question, what events would you find most valuable for making those key connections? And 62% said a combination of both the networking and the seminars and workshops. So, I think that's why, for instance, our local chapters and also our online, our e-chapter today, why it's successful is because it does combine both of those. There's the whole takeaway process and then there's the networking, so it's wonderful. Elena, do you have anything to add here?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to network. As Lisa mentioned, you don't have to go to an event to network. This is a misconception, right? You can network anywhere you go. And what does that mean? It just means striking up a conversation with someone, or if they drop something, help them pick it up, and then you have an opening to talk to them. I've done this at the post office. Here, let me help you with that package, So I think that's one of the things that people don't realize. The other thing is there's a lot of online type of stuff like what we're doing through NAPW. There's also your LinkedIn profile. The reason that LinkedIn sends you all these little notifications is to keep it at the top of your mind that you need to go in and send messages to people that you're connected with, because it's a way to grow your circle. Because in LinkedIn, for example, you can ask one of your connections to connect you with somebody that you're interested in talking to. So so there's online networking and not just live like we're doing, but there's, LinkedIn, for example. And then, of course, one of the really popular ways in IT that we do a lot of networking and make a lot of connections is by blogging, getting followers, because followers follow followers, right? So you start a blog about something you know about, and then you let people that know you know about the blog, and they go and read it, and they tell other people, and it's like a snowball effect. So we always tell people, especially, for example, a new software company is a perfect example, start blogging about your product, because then people will gain interest and it will gain some brand recognition, right, because it's getting out there. So I think that's the big things. I think everybody knows about associations and industry-type user groups, but the less known ones are things like LinkedIn and, you know, the blogging and that kind of stuff. I think it's much more effective to get followers that way and to get yourself out there, your name out there as well.
Right. I think diversity and thinking of networking on many levels is very important. Kay, I want to finish off with you, just asking you the question about sort of keeping the network going. I mean, you know, we're very busy, right? And we've got a million things going on. And so we've been to an event, and we've been to another event, or we've been online, or we've written a blog, or on Facebook, whatever it is, and managing all of that and keeping it alive. Do you have anything to share on that?
Well, you know, I think that keeping up all that alive is all about follow-up, which is something that is not easy to do, and something, you know, people will go to a conference or an event or whatever and get a bunch of business cards, and they'll bring it back to the office, and they'll put it, they may get it into a database if they have one, but frequently it's like at worst, the business card is lost and nothing else comes of it. But putting a kind of a schedule together with what are the things that you want to follow up on, and who are the opportunities that you need to make sure that you get to. You know, and the rule of thumb says, well, you should connect with someone you've met and gotten their business card within 24 hours. And at that point, you just say, thanks for getting together. Here's some things we talked about, and let's follow up. But just making sure that you're consistently following up. And, you know, and maybe just send them an email once a quarter, or you mail them an article that you found that's, gee, this, you know, I thought of you when I saw this. It's just keeping you top of mind and starting to allow them to think of you when something comes up that's an opportunity for a way for you to help them, or for something that they can do for you.
Yes, absolutely. Very well said, Kay. And ladies, great advice. Again, you know, each chapter just seems to go by so fast, and we never have enough time. But we have learned today that professional networking is a process by which you expand your knowledge and capability by leveraging relationships with other professionals. The key word is relationships. Networking does provide a forum for your career advancement if you utilize it correctly and appropriately. Think of networking simply as talking with people, getting to know them, and letting them get to know you. Networking is all about building and maintaining relationships. Well, each chapter attendees, unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. As I said, it goes by way too fast. Thank you to Star, the Spotlight, and the panel for sharing great advice. But before we wrap up, I do want to share with you the recommended reads from our panelists today. Kay Boglin recommends Breakthrough Networking with the subtitle Building Relationships That Last by Lillian Bure-Seth. Kay met Lillian several years ago through a women's networking group in Chicago and had a chance to get to know her and really appreciate her insights and creativity. Kay especially appreciates her recommendation in the book about the final step in the relationship building process. The key is that you do it. Lisa Hannum recommends Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferretzi. Lisa also met Keith and was impressed how he interacted with people. The book provides a variety of easy-to-apply approaches to building relationships. Elena Ashley recommends Give and Take While Helping Others Drives Our Success by Adam M. Grant. In today's dramatically reconfigured world, success is increasingly dependent on how we interact with others. In Give and Take, Adam Grant, an award-winning researcher and Wharton's highest-rated professor, examines the surprising forces that shape why some people rise to the top of the success ladder while others sink to the bottom. Lastly, I added in a pick of my own, How to Work a Room by Susan Rowan. Daniel H. Pink, New York Times best-selling author of Drive and To Sell is Human, said about this book, when it comes to connecting with others, some of us are naturals. But those who aren't, and that's most of us, thank heaven for Susan Rowan. Thank you, ladies, for your great choices. And as we wrap up our event today, I'd also like to thank the hundreds of women and attendees today at our event. If any of our attendees have further questions for our speakers, please feel free to reach out to them. That information is on today's PowerPoint, which will be sent out in the post e-chapter email, along with a list of all today's attendees, so that you can connect again on napw.com and continue to network. Also, all NAPW e-chapters are recorded and saved on the YouTube NAPW e-chapter channel for you to watch and share with your colleagues, friends, and family. You will see on your screen now that you can sign up to the upcoming NAPW e-chapter rerun of today's event on April 19th at 12 noon Eastern, along with our next live e-chapter event May 3rd at noon also Eastern, titled Creating a Three-Pillar Network of Influence: Operational, Personal, and Strategic. Remember, all sessions, even when a rerun, host live attendee networking. And finally, ladies, post each chapter, here are 3 things you should do to continue putting your NAPW membership to work. 1, connect with at least 3 members post each chapter. The attendee list is coming your way. 2, make sure you signed up for the next e-chapter. And 3, don't forget to take the post e-chapter survey. Your feedback is very important to us and enables us to enhance your member experience. Thank you, everyone, for another great e-chapter event, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.